Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome break services. But although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
Come note musicali di una melodia tracciata su di un foglio senza pentagramma, i nostri passi riecheggiano tra le rocce di questi sentieri. Il nostro cammino è appena cominciato, ma qualcosa balena nella nostra mente. L'autostrada, le ruote, sono simboli, segni inequivocabili che ci indicano una via, un perché. Ma è ancora troppo presto. I nostri piedi affondano ancora nella fredda sabbia di queste spiagge. Anche se cominciamo a capire, piano piano cominciamo a ricordare. È accaduto qualcosa. Dobbiamo assolutamente allontanarci dai relitti dei nostri ricordi e proseguire verso quell'antenna che ancora una volta, impetuosa e regale, si erge verso il cielo.
An imagined answer phone message. The tires are flat, the wheel spins loosely, and the brake fluid has run like ink over this map, staining the landmarks and rendering the coastline mute, compromised. Where you saw galaxies, I saw only bruises cut into the cliff by my lack of sobriety.
Scuse, solo un ignobile insieme di squallide giustificazioni. Mancanza di sobrietà, ecco il punto della questione. Quella molecola dipinta sulle pareti dei nostri ricordi adesso acquista un senso.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Rabbia ed impotenza scavano voragini nell'anima, minuto dopo minuto, ora dopo ora, anni dopo anni. O forse sono sensi di colpa. Qualunque sia la verità, una cosa è certa: non è assolutamente vero che il tempo guarisce ogni ferita.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there. The bothy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either. Inventory. A trestle table we spread wallpaper on in our first home. A folding chair. I laughed at you for bringing camping in the lakes. I was uncomfortable later and you laughed then. This diary, the bed with the broken springs. Once asleep you have to remember not to dream. A change of clothes. Donnelly's book, stolen from Edinburgh Library on the way here. I will burn them all on the last morning and make an aerial of my own.
Dentro quella grotta lo abbiamo visto. Qualcuno con una candela in mano, di nuovo, osservava il nostro solitario viaggio. Chi può essere così pazzo per passare il tempo osservando un uomo perso nei suoi ricordi?
Jakobsen's ribcage, they told Donnelly, was deformed, the result of some birth defect or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird. They found Jakobsen in early spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. His fingernails were raw and bitten to the quick. They found the phosphorescent moss that grows in the caves deep under the nails. Whatever he'd been doing under the island when his strength began to fail is lost. He'd struggled halfway up the cliff again, perhaps in a delirium, perhaps trying to reach the bothy's fire before curling into a stone and expiring. Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Tutti questi nomi e questi luoghi esistono davvero? Qual è il nostro nome? Esther, Donnelly o Jacobson? Non ci interessa. Una valigia piena di vestiti, invece, rotolata giù da una scogliera, questo ci interessa. Non sappiamo di chi è, probabilmente non lo sapremo mai. Ciò che sappiamo è che incarna il simbolo e l'essenza di qualcosa che, in un modo o nell'altro, è andato come non doveva andare. Questo è ciò che ci interessa. Jacobson, quell'eremita, ha esplorato quest'isola prima di noi. La disperazione è uno di quei sentimenti che tutti credono di conoscere, ma che in pochi hanno davvero esplorato a fondo, fin dentro le grotte più buie e recondite dell'evidenza di non poter cambiare le cose. Esther è più lontana di quanto mai potessimo immaginare. Forse è così lontana da far sì che nessun essere umano possa mai raggiungerla. Ma questo non ci interessa. Noi siamo qui per lei e la ritroveremo. Alla prossima.